It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are live. We're in Flower Mound, North Texas today. Headed back to Central Texas later on in the afternoon, but we are pumped to be with you from our Flower Mound studios. Of course, we are presented by Slovacics. Crawford Austrian Properties also in the mix here, big time. Just inked a deal with the Doghouse. We'll be talking more about them in the coming new year. But the Doghouse is an awesome restaurant. They're all over the country, but it's the best sports bar in Central Texas, hands down. So looking forward to establishing and adding to our relationship with them over the course of the next, whatever the contract is, right? Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. There is no contract. It's called a lifetime deal, baby. We love them. And also, big time thanks to Socorro Family Ford and First National Bank of Central Texas. Dan Ingham always helping us out. And is a real part of the reason that we've been able to have some success here. Closing in on 92,000 subscribers on December 14th or December 15th, excuse me. We are expecting, anticipating a wonderful guest today. This guy is, I mean, come on now. We're talking about a 2000 national champion, a Butkus Award winner, Bednarik Award winner, unanimous All-American, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Teddy Lehman is going to join us from Norman, Oklahoma, as we get set to get you set for Alabama, Oklahoma from Norman on Friday night. Big props to Jim Nagy, my main man, making it happen. He's got Oklahoma hosting a playoff game in his first year as a general manager with the university. So you got to give a shout out to Jim Nagy. Looking forward to talking to Teddy. That'll probably be in about 5 minutes. Before we get to that interview, just a reaction from yesterday in the NFL and Patrick Mahomes tearing his ACL. That coming in conjunction with the Chiefs, pretty much, that story is over for this year. And now it's the team that had a documentary, which was well-deserved, but prior to the season, Dynasty or the franchise, one of the two. But it was definitely built around the fact that this was a dynasty, one of the best dynasties in the history of sport, and certainly the NFL. Are we now turning the page? Mahomes tears his ACL, a brutal injury, absolutely brutal. And it was going to take something brutal to get this guy down just from over our body of work with him. When you look at, I remember in 2019, right? He had, what did he have wrong with him? I wrote it down here. 2019, dislocated kneecap. He only missed 2 games, and the team went on to win the Super Bowl. And then in 2022, remember the high ankle sprain in the Super Bowl that he was able to play through. And there were times when, he was concussed and would miss a game here and there. But this is a guy who at 30 years old has really avoided any kind of major injury throughout his career. So now there's a few things at play. And this is where if you're Patrick Mahomes, this setback is an opportunity for you to, okay, right now you're a legendary quarterback. It's an opportunity, if you want to look at it that way, for him to become almost a superhuman quarterback, right? At 31 years old, when he comes back, is he going to be able to sustain the level of play that we saw him win all these Super Bowls with and become just an absolutely phenomenal player that's legacy is etched in stone in the NFL, right? How does this change the Chiefs and how they go about business in the offseason? A lot of stuff to keep an eye on. And then last night, the Cowboys being eliminated, prolific offense, really bad defense. And it's been the story all year long. And you always wonder, it's like we talk about Dave Aranda, right? This mastermind defensively, Matt Eberflus, same way. When you don't have the dudes, makes it really difficult to show off that mastermind. And watching the Cowboys last night felt very similar to watching Baylor. I mean, obviously we're talking about 2 totally different stratospheres as far as athletes and playmakers are concerned. But, every time you feel like you've got a dog in the fight and, okay, Cowboys are rolling, maybe we can win the game, maybe we can get to the playoffs, then they take the top down and you're beat deep for another explosive. And, that is a situation that we've been dealing with all year long. I don't know how much longer Cowboys fans will be dealing with Matt Eberflus doing that. I know he's a great coach. I know that, this is a tough hand to have been dealt. And the Cowboys are now, I think, the first team one of 3 teams since 2000, or maybe in the history of football, to average more than 29 points a game and not make the playoffs. So that's kind of wild. We're going to go now to a guy who knows a lot about the postseason. And he's got a big postseason event coming up. Teddy Lehman joins us now. The Oklahoma Breakdown is the show, a live show December 18th from Riverwind Casino, 7 p.m. open to the public. Yo, how about this guest list, Teddy? Josh Pate, Cole Kublik, Stanford Steve, you. It's going to be pretty exciting. I mean, that to me just – you can't really oversell how exciting Friday night is going to be in Norman.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, Riverwind is a big partner of ours, and they're helping us out. We wanted to do a live show, having the home playoff game, which, ever since those were announced, we've been going crazy around here about the possibilities and who would we like to match up against. Well, we got Alabama. So, yeah, we're going to do the live show the night before. There's a bunch of people coming in town for the game. So we took advantage of it, man. What can we say?
That's a hell of a job by you guys. I get my goosebumps going just looking at the matchup. And then when I see the appropriate hype being lended to this game, it certainly has the pilot light on for me. Around the game, I mean, Oklahoma, Alabama, postseason Friday night in Norman. What does that do for a guy like you, right? Someone who is an Oklahoma legend. We were just talking about legacies. Yours is, in a whole nother stratosphere at Oklahoma. What does a game like this mean for a guy like you?
Man, it's awesome. I can't wait. And, it means a lot more because I've followed the team. I've been a part of the broadcast and doing shows and covering the team for, it's going on 12, 13 years now. And it's been a struggle because pretty much the entire time I've been ripping my hair out. You can tell I ripped all my hair out because we weren't playing any defense. But now we've got Venables coming back. It took him a little bit of time to get his guys rolled through and get the knowledge of what it is that he likes to do on defense. And they look great. So it's awesome. It's awesome to be there. But the fact that we're going behind, in my opinion, the best defense in the country is just, it's awesome. My favorite part, every game day I go down and walk on the field, and then I sit over on the bench and all the linebackers come over and we just kind of cut it up for 15 or 20 minutes and tell stories and talk about the game and everything. And pretty much every week I'm like, I'm so jealous of you guys. Oh my God, I wish I was able to do it again. Enjoy it while you're here. It's going to be gone before you know it. So just, knowing those guys real well and the way that they play, this game means a lot.
Before we talk about the defense and the X's and O's, I do want to get into the team's makeup. Jim Nagy in his first year as GM, and then, with Brett Venables and the rest of that staff, obviously has created, like you said, this defense is special. What kind of, where are Nagy's fingerprints on the evolution of this roster this year?
Yeah, well, I think you're going to see the full effect from Nagy as we roll into next season. He came in, he made some additions, and I think the scouting for this recruiting class that we just put together and his scouting department doing their forward work for the transfer portal is where you're really going to start to see them come into effect. I think the most important thing for Nagy is kind of learning the DNA of Brent Venables' program and exactly the type of player that he wants and the type of player that's right for the program and right for this football team. Now, obviously, there's some things that across the board, measurables, athleticism, competitiveness, all those things are always going to be there. But I think just seeing Venables work this team and go through training camp and see how tough they are, how important physicality is, how important intelligence and camaraderie and culture, all of those things. So I think it's really helped find the formula to get the right players. You can't always just go get all the best players, right? You have to find the guys that fit your program. And I think they're off to a great start.
Yeah, Teddy, I love that. Just like, hey, let's let Jim kind of sit back, be a part, and ruminate in the culture, right, while doing his job, and then become an extension of that culture, getting guys and bringing them to Norman who play Oklahoma football, right, who play that type of game that you played and that, you're looking forward to seeing Friday night. In a game like this, right, where there's so much at stake, where a play or two could change everything and honestly could change history going forward, how do you as a player prepare for a game like this? You played in a lot of games like this. What's different about a game like this where a play or two can change history?
Well, a cliche, okay? If you prepare differently for this game than you did the games previously, you're probably not going to be in this game. And that's why I think Brent Venables is so great. And I've said this from the very beginning whenever they hired him. He is the most consistent person I've ever met in any walk of life. And that is a great thing, but it's a bad thing if you feel like you're going to have a day off, or if you're not feeling it today, or if you're not feeling well, or you're working through an ankle injury. He is the exact same every single day. It doesn't matter if it's the first game of the year, if it's the national championship, if it's a spring practice, if it's a summer walkthrough. It is always the exact same. Now, I'm not blind to the fact that as the games get bigger, like the nature is just to crank it up. But saying that, my point is the way that this team is made, they don't have to do anything different. They just do what they do, because it is always like that. Because as a defensively led team, and some of the guys that said this week, this is the 5th round of the playoffs for them.
Yeah.
It was a win or go home in Tennessee. So every single week, that's how they've approached it. So to them, it's not just another game. Everyone understands the situation and how big it is and what happens if you win it. But the preparation and the important stuff is the exact same. And I think that's a huge benefit to them.
Was there a moment being around Coach Venables when you noticed yourself for the first time, oh boy, this guy's different. This guy really has it. Is there something you remember specifically, or maybe just kind of a patch of time that sticks out to you?
Well, yeah, I remember my first practice, and I said, "This guy's different. Where's the guy that recruited me?" Yeah, he is excellent at building relationships with guys, because I think he knows, like, I can't speak for everyone, but from the outside looking in at a lot of places, it feels like the message is this is a fun place to play. This is like a player-friendly environment. I think Brent Venables, one of his big keys to success is that he understands that deep down, guys ultimately want to be challenged. They don't, like, if you go to a high school kid and you tell them this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, and we're not sure if you're good enough to handle it, that lights a fire. And I knew that, but then whenever I showed up, I was like, this is a totally different animal, which, I'm from a small school. My town is 3,500 people. I always tell people, until I went to college, I basically was the water boy way of playing linebacker. The center, he snaps it to the quarterback, and then I try and tackle that guy unless he gives the football to someone else, and then I go tackle him. That's basically how I played linebacker until I went to college. It's a totally different sport.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
So I had a really big learning curve, and it wasn't always pretty, man. It was tough. And Brent Venables was incredibly hard on me. But, you start off by, I want to do one thing right today in practice. I'll get yelled at the other 2.5 hours. But if I get one thing right, and you just slowly build, and before you know it, it's like, how did I get to where I am now, to where this defense and the adjustments and the blitzes and the coverage and the run fits, it's second nature. It's like I always equate it to playing an instrument. I am a horrible guitar player because I have to think about every finger on every string. But whenever you are fluent in it and an instrument, you can just play. You just play and it feels right. And you don't think about it. It's the same thing in football. And it took me a while to get there, but whenever you get there, it's like, I was taught the right way. And I could walk into any defense and anywhere in the country, and I know so much from the ground up that I can play in pretty much any system because I was taught correctly.
When you talk about Coach Venables, you light up. And so I want to ask one more question on this. Is there a thread in your life that has followed you from Oklahoma, NFL, to now imparting wisdom on people like me and folks in a younger generation playing football that you got from Coach Venables? Is there one thing you see that plays out in your life now with consistency that's led to success that you could say, boom, that's thanks to him?
Hey, I wish that the mindset that I had in that building every day with him, like, just went to every other part of my life. But for me, I had to walk away and be like, oh my gosh, that's where I'm that guy. The rest of the time, I get to turn the volume way down.
Okay.
But no, I mean, here's the thing. You understand 100% that preparation is everything. You have to be prepared for every situation, whatever walk of life you're in. You have to know it like the back of your hand. And then you got to challenge yourself daily, and you're only going to get out of it what you put in. And to play on his teams, you have to put a lot in. You have to put everything into it. You have to sell out. And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter whether it's football, whether it's, whatever it is. I've always found that it's true. If I got the result that I wanted, I can look back and say, well, there were the steps to get here. It didn't just happen. And then whenever I didn't get the result that I wanted, I can go back and say the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Did I put the necessary work in? Did I check all the boxes on the way to trying to get that result? And if you're honest and you look in the mirror and you can say that, no, I didn't. I mean, to me, that's the biggest thing, is being able to have that honest conversation with yourself, and he forces you into that.
How about this game, X's and O's wise? When you drill down, what's the number one thing? Let's start with defense for Oklahoma and this great defense that absolutely has to show up Friday night against this Alabama team.
Well, the formula is always going to be the same. You have to make the offense one-dimensional. And we did a really good job of that the first matchup. There was a lot of conversation. Well, Oklahoma's really good at stopping the run, and Alabama hasn't run the ball well, but that's how Alabama wins. They don't need to. And that's just flat out wrong. You have to stop the run, and you have to put them in third and long. And if you live in third and long, Brent Venables will absolutely eat you alive. So to me, that's first and foremost. Stop the run, make them one-dimensional, and then you can start getting into some like, they have a great receiving core. If you go back to the first game, everyone's like, well, they outgained you. Their leading receiver was their tight end. And I'm not taking anything away from Cuevas. He's a really good tight end. But if Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams aren't going off on you, and they're checking it down to the tight end, and they got us on some like gadget throwback stuff to the tight end, we'll live with that.
Yeah, all day.
We'll live with that. As long as they're not hitting those deep in-breaking routes in the middle of the field, which they love and are really good at, or going over the top with Ryan Williams, as long as they're not doing that on you and you're stopping the run, we're good. We're in a really good spot to win the football game.
Offensively for the Sooners, is it more important to stay ahead of the chains or and this is real, like this is just reality, or to pull off a couple explosives where maybe that's how you get on the board? Like, if you could pick one of those two things that's more likely on Friday, what would it be?
I'd pick the explosives because that's really what we've seen. It's been a while since, like, you have to go back to Mateer pre-injury before he had the hand surgery, which, I'm a victim of it, but I think a lot of other people, when they're clowning Oklahoma's offense, and they should be, I don't think people realize that our starting quarterback had hand surgery in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
And it's been a process for him to get back to where he was and who he was. And I'm still not sure that he's back. You go watch, like, say, the Michigan game, and then watch later, Mateer's a different guy. But all that being said, the most important thing, take care of the football. We cannot go into games like this where you're evenly matched and lose the turnover battle. You just can't do it. The chances to win go down significantly. And our offense has done a good job of that down the stretch. Take care of the football. Field position is going to be critical. You know, it's a lost art, but defense is back right now in college football. I think people are starting to notice it. And if you can play good defense and win field position, ultimately points are going to start to show up. And that's what happened in the first game. Alabama outgained Oklahoma. Well, you know why they outgained Oklahoma? Because Oklahoma was plus 22 starting field position. They had to go 22 yards longer on every single drive. You extrapolate that out 12 or 14 drives, well, that's where all your lost yardage is, and that's why they outgained you and lost the game. So offense needs to be able, when backed up, get a couple of first downs. When you get the ball in average starting position, go get a field goal. When the defense or situations occur to where you get the ball in great starting field position, you got to go score a touchdown. But, you know, what we've seen, and we've done a pretty good job of that. Plus, whenever we've needed to, we found the explosive play.
Do you buy into it's hard to beat a good team twice or a great team twice?
Well, I mean, I think it totally depends on the matchup. If you go on the road and something crazy happens and you play outside yourself, the other team has a disappointing day and it's an unexpected result, well, yeah, it's going to be hard to beat that team again.
Yeah.
If you're the better football team, you got the better coaches, you're more prepared, you're more well-rounded, then I don't think that's the case. And I'll tell you right now, whenever the Alabama matchup showed up on the screen, my first thought was, I was shocked. A lot of people were shocked. I was expecting to see Notre Dame or Miami in that spot.
Yeah.
And after I thought about it for, you know, a quick second or two, I was like, I like this, because if you think about Notre Dame and you think about Miami, like Notre Dame, they just destroyed everyone all the way through their schedule. Miami destroyed most of the teams, especially on the back end of their schedule. So you don't really know their true DNA. Alabama's had to lay their cards on the table. Their stretch that they've had to go through late, there's nothing left. You know who they are. When you have to have it on third down, what are their go-to plays? Into half, whenever you've got to be able to go down and get a field goal, get a touchdown, you're in the red zone and you're down. What are the things that they absolutely go to whenever everything is on the line? And you've seen that game after game from them. So obviously Venables has the first matchup to go off of, but everywhere else, you can kind of go back and reinforce who are they really, what's their true DNA, and game plan for that. And there's no one better than Brent Venables for that.
A couple more for you before we get you out of here. This is awesome stuff. When you think about this game as we get closer to kickoff, what are your keys for an Oklahoma victory? What do the Sooners have to do to win this football game?
You always got to win the line of scrimmage, and always got to be the most physical team. And to me, that's been one of the things that I can say with this football team, that they've gone out and defensively, 100% most physical team, win the line of scrimmage. It's not even close. Offensively, we've gotten a lot better in that department. I think that's how this team is made, is they punish you physically. That's number one. Number two, you have to win the turnover battle. Have to. Our offense at times has been careless with the football, and it's cost us. But that's really that's one of the main. Our defense has played good enough to win every game we've played in. You know, Texas, it was 13-6, about 3 or 4 minutes into the fourth quarter. Gave up a punt return touchdown, and that was pretty much it after that. But defense played, for the most part that day, good enough to win. But we turned the ball over, 3-4 times in that game. Can't win like that. So as we've gotten closer to the end of the season, we've really done a better job And that's really where did Oklahoma come from? Well, they stopped turning the football over. And defensively, they started happening. We played a lot of people that absolutely refused to put the ball in harm's way against us early in the year. It stayed super conservative. But now people are, have to come outside of themselves a little bit with our offense playing better. And it's forced people to put the ball in harm's way. And we've taken advantage of that. So that's number 2. And number 3, it's not going to win any beauty contest, but we have to win special teams. And we have been great at that down the stretch. Excellent. We've got a great kicker, just won the Grozo Award. We've got a great punter. We've got the best kickoff coverage team in the country, number 1. So our special teams have been a massive factor for us. And in these tight games, which pretty much every game we've played in this season has been tight, the ones that matter, the special teams is going to be the deciding factor. Texas gets a punt return for a touchdown. It's the difference in the game. We have the lead against Ole Miss at home in the 4th quarter and fumble a punt return, and we lose that game. But since then, it's been a huge weapon for us. And frankly, it's something that Alabama started to struggle with quite a bit.
All right, last one for you. We're counting down to kick off on the sideline. National anthem ends. You're getting ready to take the field for the first offensive possession for Alabama. If you're Teddy still in uniform, how do you channel this adrenaline and this massive charge of energy and the endorphins? You're out of your mind. How do you keep that, especially someone like you, a thinker who makes plays all over the field, but you've got to see the field. How do you channel that emotion and energy? That's something that very few people on the planet know what that's like.
It took me a really long time to figure that out. And you'll still see it a lot. The hardest possession defensively is the first possession, because you're not exactly sure what you're going to get from the offense. That's where all the new stuff is going to come. First 15, they've got all their scripted stuff against you. So you're battling that. But you also battle, like, I've always wondered, like, what is happening to me? Because, I know I'm in great shape. I've played in 10 games up to this point. But on that first drive, why am I just so exhausted? It's because you show up at exactly what you're talking about. You go from a resting heart rate, adrenaline kicks in, you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you go into this huge oxygen debt. So you're just like, your body is like falling apart on you. It's the most brutal thing in the world. It's like you're going through the hardest workout you've ever been through. And it's like, what is happening? This is football. I do this every day. So like what I figured out is, like a boxer that comes out, has a good sweat going, you have to be ready to roll. So as soon as I go out there, I was a captain. I go out for the coin toss. Good. We're receiving. We're kicking off. Defense is up first. I light the fuse, buddy, and I run a couple of like 50-yard sprints down to the end zone, get a little fake stretch in, rip it back to the 50-yard line just to get the, so you don't go into that oxygen net. That's how I handled it. I don't know how anyone else does it.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. And last thing, when you were talking about Venables changing, like most coaches do after they recruit you, I thought about the guy who recruited me. And then I thought, I went to Richmond. The guy who recruited me was a man named Joe Cullen, who I know was one of your coaches in Detroit.
Oh my God, yeah.
Dude, yeah. The guy was a maniac. Hey, Peter, nice to meet you. Like to give you a scholarship. And then before the game, he's like, the first time I saw him, they're coming into your house with a knife. They're going to kill your mother. He's throwing up in trash cans. I'm like, dude, where do we get this guy? And he was in Detroit. Now he's with the Chiefs as their D-line coach. But that guy he was
great, man.
Night and day, right?
He was great. Yeah, that's hilarious. When were you at Richmond?
I was at Richmond from 95 to 99.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he is great. Oh, Joe Cullen, man. He's now he had it rough in Detroit. Rob Marinelli was the head coach whenever he was there.
Yeah.
And Rob Marinelli was the D-line guy from Tampa and it came up through the Tampa 2 system. So he was on Joe, and Joe was on the players. It was like you could see the dominoes fall, and it was awesome.
All right, man. The Oklahoma Breakdown live at the Riverwind Casino. That is going to be December 18th. Getting ready for the game on a Thursday night. Teddy, man, thank you so much for the time. The pod's awesome. Your work as an analyst is great. To share time with you today, you're a legend. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. It was awesome. Anytime.
All right, take care. There he goes, Teddy Lehman. And how about that? He takes us behind the curtain before kickoff. That doesn't get the pilot light going on a Monday morning. You got a problem I can't solve. We're presented by Savachix. We're going to step aside and come back after the break. More breakdowns. What are the Cowboys up to? We'll tell you. Stay tuned.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB, your bank for life, takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. badcreditloans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Oh, that Teddy Lehman interview was lights out. Okay, and we're going to put that up. We'll get it circulating on the World Wide Web here soon. If you missed it, you can watch it there. I have a feeling that'll go over pretty well with fans of the Oklahoma Sooners and Alabama Crimson Tide and football fans everywhere that are going to be out of their minds for college football this coming weekend. I know I'm one of them. Interesting segment coming up here, and this is like we're switching gears here. A little bit of a, I don't know if you want, breaking news, I guess. But in conjunction with this breaking news, second time I've said conjunction today, so that's interesting. In conjunction with this breaking news, why am I about to talk about a running back who played in, I guess, the Big 12 Conference, who played in 40 games? He had 185 rushing attempts for 711 yards. He wore number 4. He went to Baylor. He played from 97 to 2001. He was hurt in 2000. The guy's name is Derek Lagway. And Derek Lagway has a son who you might be familiar with, DJ Lagway. DJ grew up in Houston, but he is just announced probably about an hour ago that he is going to transfer from the University of Florida. Now, I want to bring in my resident Baylor expert. Please bear with me. Is the show. You can watch it Sunday nights. You can watch it online anytime you want, because I'm telling you, this library that you've got there, you're going to have to bear with him. And he's on the screen now, Scotty Swingler. Scotty, is there any chance when you see that DJ Lagway is transferring, does any part of you like think, well, that's interesting, like maybe he could come home to play in Central Texas?
I don't know if you saw my tweet about this. It was the GIF for those fellow Marvel fans of Hawkeye at the beginning of Avengers Endgame in the rain saying, "Don't give me hope." So this because very few things would excite me right now about Baylor football, but that would be exciting. I give this like a 3% chance, Pete. Like Baylor will definitely be on DJ's mind, but Baylor
will be on his mind. And can you refresh my memory, because I didn't know, what was the recruiting process like? Was he in the mix to go to Baylor possibly?
He was a verbal commit at one point, actually.
With Dave Aranda, obviously, right?
Yeah, before flipping. Now, there's some context to this, and I'm friends with Sean Bell, so that I do have my own biases, but Sean Bell was obviously very important in his recruitment. He was coaching quarterbacks at Baylor at the time. DJ verbally committed and flipped, and this was, I believe, the year immediately after Austin Novosad, another kind of highly thought of 4-star quarterback, committed verbally to Baylor and flipped and ended up signing with Oregon. And so Bell sometimes gets criticized for like earning those verbal commits from those two, and then those guys ended up somewhere else. Meanwhile, Bell did just sign the number 1 quarterback in America at Houston last week. So, but I have a hard time.
By the way, DJ grew up in Houston, in Willis.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. By the way,
that's on the table. Sean Bell at Houston.
I definitely think Houston could be on the table. The problem is now you've got a crowded room. Wegman just had the best year of his career. He's back for one more season. Kayshawn Henderson, this number 1 recruit in America in this last class, coming in this next year. So I don't know if that's where you want to be if you're DJ. I'm sure he's talking to Coach Bell and those guys. But I would just ask out loud, Pete, what does DJ Lagway gain if he were to come to Baylor? Because presumably he's leaving Florida in large part because they've struggled on the field. I mean, they and Baylor has as well. You're leaving Florida maybe because you're looking for something a little more stable. Well, this Baylor coaching staff may be gone after another season if they don't get it together pretty significantly. You could leave Florida looking for a pretty high paycheck. I think DJ Lagway is going to earn some money here in the portal. Well, there's a lot of questions right now as to how much Baylor can afford to spend. And let's be honest, Baylor has to fill a lot of holes on the roster in the portal. And I don't know that they want to spend.
I agree with you, but you got to take this swing, right?
I agree. Listen, if Dave Aranda called me tonight and said, Scotty, should we throw $1.52 million at this kid? I'd probably say, why not, coach? Yes.
Yeah.
He's a superstar, but I don't think it'll happen. I just really struggle to see why it would happen.
Where do you think like Lagway goes? Like, what is he looking for, do you think?
Try this on for size, Pete, because they don't have a superstar at quarterback. Why would Joey McGuire not be on the phone with DJ Lagway today?
Maybe he already was. Good call, dude.
I mean, seriously, they've got the money.
Probably one of the guys that recruited him at Baylor.
Correct.
Yeah.
They've got the money. It's a Texas, he's not from West Texas, but it's a Texas school close to home. They're in the playoff. And they, like, all due respect to the guys on their roster and the guys they've got committed for next year, they don't have a quarterback as talented as DJ Lagway. They don't. And I would almost argue, I like Baron Morton, Pete, but I would almost argue if Tech had DJ Lagway right now instead of Baron Morton, you might be arguing they're the favorite to win the Natty. And the only thing really holding them back might be questions about, man, if Baron Morton gets in a shootout with Fernando Mendoza or Julian Sayin or Dante Moore, like, do we think he can keep up? If you had DJ Lagway, you're not asking those questions. And I know he didn't have a terrific season at Florida, but we know there's all kind of issues in that program. That's why they just hired a new head coach. So, man, it'll be curious to see where he falls. But I would just say Texas Tech should be a player in this thing.
All right, that's good, Scotty. That's very good work. I mean, that's great intel.
It's just logic. It's just logic. I mean, like, Marcel Reed's going to be back at A&M. I don't think they're going to be in play. I think Texas is committed to Arch Manning. Would they take DJ? Probably, but like that strikes me as odd. Yeah, Houston's room is too crowded. So if part of his thinking is get back to Texas, get back to home, I'm confident Joey McGuire's on the phone.
It's super interesting too, the money. Like I watched a 60 Minutes piece on your buddy Mendoza last night, and I did not know that he's $2 million is what he left Cal to come to Indiana for. I mean, and that was it's not like they just paid him yesterday after he won the Heisman. Like that was they bet on this kid.
And by the way, got Carson Beck making significantly more than that. Cade Klubnik at Clemson just made significantly more than that. The two guys in this portal that are going to get paid, Pete, are Drew Messmaker coming out of North Texas. By the way, he's between Indiana and Oklahoma State. So that'll be an interesting race to watch. And then Lagway. I think we assume Kiffin is going to get maybe Chambliss to come over to LSU, but if Chambliss jumps to the NFL, what if Kiffin gets Lagway at LSU? Like, there's going to be a lot of suitors here for this kid.
I'm happy you're saying this because this is kind of as we start to gain a little bit more of a foothold and comfort, because I've been down on college football and the transactional nature. This will start to get kind of fun. I mean, honestly, to see where these guys go. I mean, there's heartbreak for the universities they leave, but now I'm interested to see what you just mentioned. Like, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of, fan fire behind where these guys are going to go.
I mean, yeah, and I'll give you two more. If you're just talking about resources, I don't know how DJ Lagway thinks. Maybe it's Baylor because it's where his dad played and it's the first school that recruited him. Maybe it's get back to Texas, and so Joey would have a leg up. Maybe it's take the money. I don't know what DJ Lagway's process is like. But if it's just about money and resources, let me give you two more schools that are on the phone with him right now. Nebraska is on the phone. Raiola is likely going to transfer. I don't know that that's been announced yet. But his father just got fired. His little brother just decommitted.
I think that was his uncle, I think. It's not his dad. It's his uncle.
You're right. Sorry. Yeah. But his little brother just decommitted. Rayola's probably going to transfer. Is Matt Rule looking for someone to swoop in and save that team? And then, Matt Campbell at Penn State. Like, are you on the phone right now with DJ Lagway? Like, I know Penn State could probably get a few guys in there. But, remember their high school class was one of the worst in America because they still didn't have a head coach on signing day. So they did not sign. I think they signed like 1 or 2 kids like on signing day. So they're going to be portal heavy trying to get guys to come to Penn State. Why would you not call DJ Lagway, right? Like it's going to be really fascinating to see where this kid ends up.
Scotty Swingler, check him out on Please Bear With Me. Oh my gosh. He is really the minister of college football portal information at this moment right now. That sounded like something Mosley would say. There's portal information. Today we're going to be talking a lot about the Cowboys. If you saw me this morning, I was on Get Up and First Take standing behind Jerry Jones, just kind of lurking, right behind him. Get my sunglasses off. I called Mosley on Friday. And no. He called me. I called him back, realized, it's 1 o'clock. Your show is starting. Sorry. And then he called me during a break. He was like, if I hang up on you, it's because I came back to me real quick. And then click, he just hang up. He just hang up. He hangs up on me. We may or may not have talked about the newest iteration of the Tonight Show coming out of Central Texas. The Pete Sousa Show. We'll step aside. We will be back with I have a thought about the Cowboys that I'm going to share, and I think might be legitimate. Like, I think there's something to it. So stay with us. The Pete Sousa Show on a Monday rolls on after this. We're talking Cowboys.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at FullwellFertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at GEVI.com to discover more.
It's the Pete Sousa Show.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at sarn.com.
At Covers and All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit opengoaalusa.com and elevate your training today.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at bill.com.
Stability.
Pete Sousa show. Am I missing something, by the way? Like, I don't want to come off as like somebody who's classless or doesn't get it, right? But I think we're overreacting a little bit to the Diego Pavia tweet afterwards. I mean, like 2 days before the Heisman Trophy, Diego Pavia went to Special Olympics, went with a bunch of Special Olympics kids, and took them on this amazing holiday shopping experience. And nobody talked about that, right? Like, that's an amazing thing for him to do and to impart like positivity and just spend a lot of time with folks who may need the help or may really have a unforgettable experience from spending time with a guy who has just had such a dynamic season and was up for the Heisman Trophy, literally up in New York for it. Like, for the guy to say F the voters in a tweet afterwards, like, the Heisman Trophy, which I love, right? Because it was one of the hallmarks of college football for me early on. I really remember watching the ceremonies. It's funny having Teddy Lehman on today. I can remember, Brian Bosworth being at the ceremony, sitting alongside, I think Paul Palmer from Temple was also there. I think it was kind of almost even more interesting to see who else would get the invite to New York, right? Because there were sometimes some upstart candidates who you didn't expect to, who you just kind of were like, oh, wow, like Gordy Lockbaum. I feel like maybe he was invited to the Heisman ceremony, the guy who played at Holy Cross. All that stuff was kind of cool. And, Diego Pavia kind of was that guy this year. You didn't think he was going to win it, but he got invited. It was really cool. But apparently he thought he was going to win it because he says F the voters, right? And, a lot of folks around college sports, particularly Vanderbilt, are clutching their pearls. Well, first of all, Vanderbilt fans, like, I'll say, hey, like, if you'd like to, hey, man, you take a junior college kid from Albuquerque, New Mexico, this is what you get. He's a great kid, maybe a little rough around the edges, right? And he's a competitor, and winning is in his DNA. And like, he shouldn't be like, we shouldn't take this too seriously. Of all the things we see and everything, if this guy tweets out F the voters after he loses something by like a lot, it's like, who cares? But people are up in arms about that. Like, worry about what your kids are doing in your house. Don't worry about Diego Pavia. That's just my little, is it classy? No. Is it the end of the world? No, not that either. So everybody just settle down on that. That's my one thing. Okay. It's just a last thought today on a Monday. I do want to talk about the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, when this is, I don't know, man. I think there was one game this season, and it was a road game at the Jets. And I think that was on maybe October 6th or 5th, where the Cowboys were not featured prominently on national television, right? That was the one game where I think it was probably on in New York and, that region of the country. And, maybe it may have been, I don't think it was, because I remember listening to the guys calling the game, and it was a great crew, but it wasn't like Romo or Nance. They were somewhere else that week, and the game was on CBS. Or maybe it was on Fox, but whoever it was, it wasn't, it was not, what's his face? Kevin and Tom Brady. Why the frick do I forget his last name? Well, whatever. He's amazing. Kevin is the play-by-play guy. And so I look at the Cowboys this year and how prominently Kevin Burkhardt and how prominently they have been featured on national television every week. And the absolute media blitz that has surrounded this team, from Micah Parsons to the amazing Netflix documentary, to almost beating the Eagles in the opener, to this team's horrible. I mean, I feel like we wait with bated breath on every single action of this Cowboys team, and at some point it occurs to me that this team is thrust into such a spotlight, and the pressure and the responsibility that comes with playing in that spotlight can really become a deterrent for success if your players aren't ready for that spotlight. Like Dak Prescott, I think we can all agree, is ready for the spotlight. Pickens is ready for the spotlight. CeeDee Lamb is amazing, but I mean, it feels like every week I'm looking in CeeDee. He's such a good-looking young guy too, but we're always looking at his face on the bench. He's like dismayed, and he's looking up at the scoreboard, and it's like, yeah, there's no chance the Cowboys are going to come back. And then he's gazing straight ahead. And that's been like the money shot this year for all the crews: NBC, ESPN, Fox, CBS, like all these national games that the Cowboys have played in and on, or however you want to say it. Like maybe they're not up for it. And I really mean that. Like maybe they just don't have the mettle to operate in this type of stratosphere. Second stratosphere today, maybe third. So, when you start to say words, you just say them a lot. It occurred to me last night, like, not only is the defense terrible, right? But this team just isn't ready for prime time. They're not. Like, yeah, sure, you have some big wins and some exciting moments, and the star and Jerry World and the drama is such a meteor, right? Like that the players sort of just melt underneath it or as it passes them. And I think it takes certain players to rise to that occasion. And yeah, dude, the defense sucks because the players aren't that good and there's injuries. I understand that. But there's also like, they don't make winning plays. Like the team does not make winning plays. Like they've been in position to win a lot of games and they just don't have what it takes to put their opponent to sleep. And sometimes I think that can come at the expense of absolute and total exhaustion from a year lived in the spotlight. And I hate to bring it up, but the tragedy earlier this season, that also takes a toll on this team and a toll that I can't understand how anybody plays out from under that, right? That is taxing. But when you combine that legit emotional cloud that can be dark sometimes hanging over your organization, and also the man-made hype, right, that is around your team, it's like this big quarry, like, and that's what your team is all about. And that's what your team has to play through or play under. Look, man, it's conceivable how that can be taxing on these dudes and they're just not up for it, right? I think that is a legitimate concern that Cowboy fans should have. And I think that's something that needs to change. While Jerry Jones is a mastermind and a maven and a tycoon and a businessman, and the guy understands how to get eyeballs on his product to the tune of generational wealth that will span legacies. Okay? That being said, maybe it's too much for these guys. Maybe a lot of them internally are pedestrian, because to play for the Cowboys is to play on the marquee every single night. Every single night. You're not even good, but you've got a target on your back. That's one of those deals where, you hear coaches talk about it sometimes. Hey, let's fly under the radar, right? And then all of a sudden, before you know it, like Trevor Lawrence is playing his ass off this year, recently. I'm a football fan, watch a lot of football, interested in Trevor Lawrence, had no idea. That's on me, right? But it's not hitting me over the head like every time CeeDee Lamb takes a dump. Like that. I read more about that than I read about Trevor Lawrence playing exceptional football finally in his career. Like, I'm more apt to go back. I told you guys, I watched, because I have such a fascination with how someone like Ed Ogeron, who was that unkempt, for lack of a better word, or just like, I listened to that podcast with him on Bussin' with the Boys. An amazing guy. Part football guy, part carnival barker, part just life enthusiast. He's a sober guy, so I love that. But to think that a guy like that, who is really runs really hot, right? And when you think of Ed Ogeron, he is sober, and he talked about it. I'm not breaking any news. Like, he goes to AA meetings and stuff. But the guy is, as a personality, I think we can agree, is on the edge, dude. On the edge. And he won a national championship. Like, you can say whatever you want about all the title that LSU had. He kept it together for that long to win a championship. So I'm fascinated by Ogeron. I'm watching the Sugar Bowl from 2020. I'm also so interested in that because it literally is like a month before the whole world shut down, and I do believe even our consumption of sports, I think we're out of it now, or we're almost out of it, but our consumption of sports before and after COVID was very different. So to watch that game, I found fascinating. But Trevor Lawrence was a featured player in that game. What a game, by the way. They come on the air and it's like, we've got these two amazing teams that can't lose pretty much all year long. And you got these two amazing quarterbacks. You got Sunshine, and you got Joe Bordeaux, right after he wore the jersey with his X on the back. And man, it was pretty cool to rewatch. I just watched the first quarter because I like to take in the hype and just kind of do a vibe check on moments like that. But Trevor Lawrence was outstanding, and he plays in Jacksonville though, so nobody gives a shit about how he's doing. And the Cowboys, if you're a nickel corner for that team, you're getting more run than Trevor Lawrence. And is the nickel cornerback for the Cowboys up to the challenge? I don't know. Maybe not. But I think that is something to consider when you see this team as they continue to disappoint. Maybe if the spotlight wasn't so white hot and wasn't so bright on these guys, they could just come to work and do their job. And maybe it will be a little less taxing for them, right? Maybe a little less stressful. Definitely food for thought, right? I'm trying to think if there's anything else today. Yeah, I want to do one more thing before we leave. I want to take a look at the point spreads for the college football playoff games because I didn't even want to bring it up to Teddy because when Teddy Lehman joined us earlier, Oklahoma fame, national champion, 2000 national champion, Bednarik Award winner, Butkus Award winner, esteemed career for the Detroit Lions, unanimous All-American. By the way, with Teddy Lehman, I want you guys to watch that interview. It was linebacker brain, championship pedigree, and no fluff. It was awesome. I need you guys to watch that. But college football wise, let's talk about point spreads. Miami and Texas A&M, right? The spread on this game is, I don't see it. All right, now I got to go to a different site because ESPN doesn't feel like putting their odds on it's such like a college play. It's like, it really is a crapshoot. Like, oh, today we're not going to show point spreads. Okay. Like, that's fine. Let's see here. We'll go to FanDuel. I should go to DraftKings because DraftKings is going to be a brand new sponsor of ours. Okay. Let's see. First round. Okay. So Alabama is favored by 1.5 on the road at Oklahoma. Boy, that's a stay away for me. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy that one. Miami and Texas A&M. This game at Texas A&M. A&M minus 3.5. I'm telling you right now, in this moment, run to the betting window and take Texas A&M. Run now. Ole Miss, Tulane. Ole Miss, 17.5 point favorite. Stay away. No clue how that could go. James Madison, Oregon, 21.5 points. Obviously, Oregon favored. If there's a dog I like, it's JMU. Not to win the game, but I feel like they could backdoor cover, but that's another stay away. So you didn't ask for it. I'm giving it to you. I was curious. So were you. Took us a second to get there. A&M, minus 3.5 at home against Miami. I love that bet. I do not. If there's one guy in college football I do not believe in, it is Carson Beck. And that's how it is. I don't believe in him. And I think Miami and, a team out of the ACC, I think the ACC is a paper mache conference. And I think that Florida State proved that for us earlier this year. And I believe that Miami will remind us about that later this year. So there you have it. Okay. That's my one pick on a Monday. We're going to step aside now, take care of some business at the home office, and we will leave you on this December 15th. But we are looking forward to being back with you tomorrow. We'll be in our studios in Central Texas. Thanks to Scotty Swingler. Thanks so much to Teddy Lehman. Thanks so much to Chris Visser for lining that up. Again, we are counting down the days we got a big, I think there'll be an unveil. Maybe it's after the holiday season, but there's something big coming to the Rogue Media Network. And maybe we should have like a countdown clock because it's a big deal. Yeah, we're going to have a late night show on the Rogue Media Network. More on that in the coming weeks. But for now, it is the Pete Sousa Show. Signing off. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.